Good morning, chicken math professor. Ask the Professor live stream. What do you think of Brewster the Rooster? Is he not the most magnificent specimen? Oh my goodness, found this guy at Tractor Supply and was like, you have got to be kidding me. Yes, he's literally, he's not on something. If you can see, I'll just bring him right over here. Like you can see, he is as tall as myself almost. I am over 5'9", 10-ish. So he's quite the guy here. He's beautiful, and Tractor Supply has them here in Kansas, and we are so grateful that he is now part of the CMP team. So that's what we want to talk about this morning is cockbirds and some of the misconceptions about them and some of the things that you need to know because they are a very integral part of your flock, believe it or not. So some people think that cockbirds, or otherwise known as roosters, are super mean and aggressive. Well, that can definitely happen, and you have to be careful about it. Sometimes it has to do with breeds, sometimes it has to do with circumstances. There's all kinds of things that can affect the aggression of a cockbird. But in general, they are a wonderful addition to your flock. And I lost my lapel mic in the middle of our move, so we're just gonna get some interruptions occasionally, but we're gonna roll with it because that's what we do. Anyway, yes, they can be aggressive. However, that aggression can also be used to protect the flock. And I think one of my favorite parts about what they do when they are being aggressive sometimes is they will watch others. So first of all, let's go with myth number one. You can only have one cockbird or one rooster in a flock. That is actually false. Now, you can have multiple, and that will definitely increase your aggression. However, they really do figure out their pecking order. And once they have that figured out, they can coexist together. And what they end up doing is they end up basically kind of nipping each other around and saying like, you go away, you leave that person alone, you leave that chicken alone, you leave that chick alone. I mean, you can even have mixed ages in your flock. There's all kinds of great things that we're learning in 2025 with our move and with our challenges and our needing to have places for grow outs and full grown flock and all of that. So anyway, cockbirds can use their aggression to mitigate fights in a flock. They can also obviously use it against the biggest concern, which is predators that could possibly come up and threaten the health or the lives of your flock members. Additionally, I think some of the coolest sounds I've ever heard come out of any chickens is the sounds that cockbirds make when they have found something that is delicious and fantastic and they want everybody to know about it. And specifically, they want the hens to know. So they will make, a lot of people call it tidbitting. They make this little sound, and they basically call everybody to them like, look what I found, I got these amazing things, I want to share it with all of you. So that personality trait of cockbirds is something that people don't typically know even exists. You'll only know it if you have them and or if you're witnessing this behavior. Additionally, another favorite sound ever, and I'll try to do some videos of these sounds because they're quite awesome. Another sound is when there's an aerial predator, all of them will kind of sync up and make this sound, and it kind of depends on how big the threat is, how loud, how long, how stretched out, how aggressive that sound is. It's so awesome when you have several of them, and the hens will do it as well. So we've had times where the entire flock will do it. It's quite hilarious. The other thing is the dance. Has anybody ever seen the dance when the cockbird will come up to a hen and or a potential other cockbird that they feel threatened by or that they're trying to assert their dominance over, and they'll drop one wing and then they'll just like shuffle step and have that wing alongside. And with the gentleman cockbirds, that's their way of inviting the hen and saying, hey, don't you think I'm so handsome? It's so cute. And then when they're doing that to another cockbird, that's all, step off, man. You want some of me? I'll come at you, you know? So I love that it can be used for multiple reasons why they do these particular mannerisms. And the more you get to watch them, the more you're marveled at them. I will be honest that some of the nicest chickens that we've ever had have been cockbirds, some of the sweetest. So the concern, you see these videos of like, you haven't lived in life until you've been chased by a rooster. I mean, that does happen, right? That's reality. I personally have never experienced it, and I don't know what we would do if some cockbirds started doing that to us. That's inappropriate behavior in our opinion, because that's them basically chasing off the hand that feeds them. So that doesn't fly with us. Also, we have a little, and any potential threat to him is something that isn't available. Sarah, thanks for tuning in. Appreciate you dropping by. So yeah, we don't really tolerate that super aggressive behavior, but it's also basically a myth that thinking you need to be afraid of cockbirds, especially if you raise them from babies and you very much interact with them when they're little, it changes their demeanor and their behavior completely and makes it so much more enjoyable. And you'll find that as they get older, they come to you for protection. They come to you obviously for food. They're not stupid. So the other question we sometimes get is, can I eat eggs that a rooster has fertilized? Will they taste different? Are they able to be eaten? Or am I eating a baby chick? And so the answer to that question is, yes, you can eat fertilized eggs. The majority of any eggs on a farm that has both cockbirds and hens will be fertilized. They do not taste any differently. And the one thing you do have to be careful about, especially in the summertime, when you're collecting fertilized eggs, you have to make sure that you catch those right after they're laid, and or we always break them in a little bowl before we put them in the pan or in with the recipe, because there can be times where something funny went on or a little bit of development started because it was very hot and the circumstances were just right. So that can happen. It's pretty rare, but that is a concern. But other than that, yes, you can eat your fertilized eggs, and no, there's nothing wrong, and no, you are not eating a baby chick. That's the big thing as well, is that actually that yolk is there to help sustain the chick through development, but it's not actually the chick. So if you ever were concerned about eating eggs and thinking you're eating chicks, no concern. So here's the ode to our favorite Brewster, the rooster cockbird. We wanted to introduce him as our latest addition to the team here at Chicken Math Professor, and also just to clear up any misconceptions. So hey there, Brandy, thanks for tuning in. Appreciate you guys. If anyone has any questions, are you having issues with roosters in your flock? Did you think that you couldn't have more than one? Because you can. It depends on how old they are when you introduce them. Are there any other myths that you have experienced in your chicken tending days about roosters that you feel like you don't trust them or you don't want to have one? When I hear of people that have flocks out in the country and they're like, oh, I just have hens, I'm like, oh wow, you need at least a rooster. They actually maintain your flock health. They keep everybody in order. They help them go in at night or go up to safety, and they also will give their lives for their flock, which, by the way, what an example they are to us, right? Laying down their lives for one another. So thank you guys so much for tuning in today, and we look forward to next week. If you have a question, this is called Ask the Professor, and you can PM us your questions, or you can comment on this post, and we look forward to answering them, and we look forward to doing some chicken math, y'all. Have a great day. Have a great week.